how to say ladies and gentlemen in gender-neutral terms.
All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Get in there. You will deal with that Atlas harshly.
Fight forever, Guardian!
I think you broke it.
That's what you made me do!
And you're listening to Hell in a Cell Radio.
The Hell in a Cell Talk Radio.
Hell in a Cell Radio.
Hell in a Cell Talk Radio.
Hell in a Cell Talk Radio.
For those watching live, excuse me, let me be feral for just a second. If this wasn't the greatest, without question and debate from anybody, including Mr. Lagon, part of the greatest intro in wrestling show history. It was. And for those who aren't listening, I mean, for those who are just listening and not watching, you must tune in yourself and watch the intro to NXT. We're going to keep this up for just the intro. It's the greatest thing ever, and it is the greatest thing ever, and it is Ghostbusters related. Hi, guys. Welcome back, everyone. We're back. Yes, we had to take 3 weeks off because schedules just did not align. But we're back, and we have a lot to talk about. We only tease. We're not going to talk about in depth the greatest intro of wrestling TV shows of all time. You're going to have to find that one out for yourself. However, I would like to bring up the hypocrisy in wrestling. But before we do that, because I love talking hypocrisy, just in case we are joined live here by our colleague, we're going to start, especially since it's been a few weeks, we're going to start with Professor Lagans and the wrestling historian. So I hope I didn't put you too much on the spot.
Thank you, Dan. And because
I put you on the spot, but you recovered.
No,
we fumbled and we recovered.
We fumbled and I put back where I'm putting back my own miss. Like the offensive rebounding machine that I am, because it is a sacred day, and a sacred day in wrestling history because of this national holiday. And even though this is how I normally dress on Tuesdays, and not as the great Ryan Gosling from the #1 movie, of 2023 can, we're going to celebrate the past glory that is Halloween Havoc, and some of the best moments in the history of that once great pay-per-view, which has been transformed into a premium live event with none of the glory and none of the past superstars.
What did I just say? The greatest intro in wrestling show history. This is not a debate, Mr. Lagans.
It is not a debate.
You want me on that wall. No, sorry.
I do. Well, deep down in places I don't talk about at parties, I usually the word Ghostbusters as a punchline. But
you son of a bitch.
But you use it as, code, honor, respect. Yes. But going back in history of back when professional wrestling was professional wrestling, before it was sports entertainment, and back when there was pay-per-views where you had to pay to see your favorite wrestlers and your favorite superstars on your television set via cable TV, there was a thing called Halloween Havoc, created by the late great Dusty Rhodes and presented in packed arenas across the country year after year. This is a wrestling historian, Halloween Havoc edition. We're going to go back to Halloween Havoc 1989, Dan. Halloween Havoc that took place right here. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A star-studded affair with some of the greatest wrestlers of all time, legends. Some here, some still with us, and some who have passed. but one of the great spectacles in all of professional wrestling was Halloween Havoc 1989, a veritable who's who of Hall of Famers, classic wrestlers, favorite wrestlers, and a heavy ECW fan contingent that were there before ECW became a thing. But smart fans were well aware of who these guys were, and heels were cheered and baby faces were booed relentlessly. But Halloween Havoc 1989 at the beautiful Philadelphia Civic Center holds a special place, I know, in your heart. Why is that, Dan? What did Halloween Havoc 89 made you?
That was my first ever live event that I ever went to. I was 6 years old. 6 years old, and I witnessed WCW almost burn the entire Spectrum down. And I also saw a main event which included Sting, Flair, Muta, Funk, Gary Hart, Bruno,
and Ole Anderson.
I was like, wait, I'm missing one. The guy who threw the towel in. Well, he got punched and threw the towel in. And Ole Anderson, which he's such a nice guy and not cantankerous at all. That's why I remembered him. But the 6-year-old not comprehending who I'm looking at, and even though the three last guys I named, were kind of, well, I'm not kind of, they were definitely on the sides. However, still legends.
Mm-hmm.
I just the greatness in front of me at the time. It's just not able at that age to understand who all's in the ring and what that means, especially to the Philadelphia, the Northeast area.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, future legends. We're going to talk about Flair later. But Sting,
yeah,
all of them, every single one of them is an icon in wrestling. Some of them haven't done shitty things after. Yeah. Some of them just like Jeebus.
Yeah, and some they're legendary. It still holds up. Like the great Muta, the Samoan SWAT team of Batu and Samu and their offspring are now currently part of the bloodline. But they entered the ring against the Road Warriors, doing a traditional fire dance, tribal dance, native to their country of Samoa. Interesting that they brought fire into the Philadelphia Civic Center because by law, the state of Pennsylvania and that.
Oh yeah, I said Spectrum. It was the Civic Center. Sorry,
yeah, the Civic Center. It's okay.
I'm old.
But the Civic Center, not only is there no smoking in the arena at all, not even in the concourses, but by law, Pennsylvania State District and mandated, there was not to be any fire in that building whatsoever under any circumstances. And out came the Samoans with flame on both ends of the sticks, and both of them were carrying them. So you had 4 times the fire. No. And not to mention that later on in the main event, when the cage of doom came down to encapsulate the 4 people we mentioned, Terry Funk, the Great Muta, Ric Flair, and Sting, because of the amount of streamers that are on the cage for some reason, and then we have streamers on the top of the cage, and then we're going to set off fireworks. And what could possibly go wrong? Except the fireworks catching on fire. So once again, there is fire in the building where there was supposed to be no fire. But luckily, future Hall of Famer, the Great Muta, took it upon himself to use the green mist to blow out the flames. Or attempt to blow out the flames.
Well, I mean, it did the job.
Yeah.
The job they didn't have to do because they were told not to do that.
Yeah.
But alas.
Yeah, but alas. Yeah, and no, the NWA, which it was at the time, running the Civic Center, which they had already been running for quite a few years. Obviously, we're not aware of the mandate, the law that states that there is to be no fire in the building because their entrances were already planned. The Samoans' entrances were, at least. The streamers catching fire was not obviously part of the show, but again, streamers, fireworks,
Unreal.
nothing could possibly go wrong.
There's a few things that went wrong on that show, but I don't remember it being boring. I remember it being cold.
Yeah,
especially up where I was. It's a cold place. It's a cold place.
It's a cold place.
Yeah, but yeah, then they returned in, I want to say it was 92.
It was Halloween Havoc 1992, October 25th, 1992. By this time, it was Philadelphia fans were smarter, but there was such a
but
a loud contingent there. It was. I just remember the opening just being booed immersively, and not so much booed, but just ignored. The opening bout, the tag team bout of Eric Watts and Van Hammer versus the Vegas connection of Diamond Dallas Page and Vinny Vegas.
Diamond Dallas Page and Vinny Vegas.
And yeah.
I love Kevin, but I mean, he made it work as long as he had to, which
Yeah.
was longer than he had to make Oz work,
Mhm.
which I would argue didn't work. But people, will any good wrestler make that work? Not Oz.
No.
And that's not Kevin's fault. That was just terrible. You've lost the plot when you have to argue with Dusty that Oz is a geographical location, not a person.
Yeah.
We're gonna call you Oz, baby. But he's the Wizard of Oz. I might not know my adjectives, but I know he is the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Other matches on that particular card. Ricky Steamboat defeated Brian Pillman. I think that was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
Vader defeated Nikita Koloff. I think that was the bout that Nikita broke a shoulder, or Vader broke Nikita's shoulder.
Good job, jerk off.
Barry, one of the Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes against Steve Austin and Steve Williams. It was Dr. Death and Steve Austin. So Steve Williams and Steve Williams facing up against Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes. And I forget. This is back when it was split, because Rick Rude was the NWA heavyweight champion, but the WCW champion was Ron Simmons. And he defended against the Barbarian. So the Barbarian, for all was getting a push and had a main event, had a title match on a pay-per-view. So that's one thing it's overlooked
Go ahead, finish what you're
in the Barbarian's career, that he main evented a pay-per-view with against Ron Simmons.
But just to be the white dude, they didn't even get to do that.
No,
because it wasn't the main event, because we had to have the fucking spin the wheel, make the deal, fucking coal miners glove match, which, as big as this thing mark that I am, was one of the stupidest things in retrospect that they ever did, because it didn't make any goddamn sense.
No.
So instead, there's a match you should have swapped times with. We're always and I agree on Twitter, we're always talking about on Twitter how this match should have been a little bit shorter, so to give, I don't know, some of the ladies chance, because you got 50 of them on the roster and you're using 12. This should have been swapped. Not only should have the placement been swapped, but the coal miner's glove is, according to Wikipedia, was around 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it was around 10 minutes. Oh no, okay, I'm wrong. Never mind. The that was only 10 minutes. God damn it. It seemed like half hour. Oh bitch. It's even a slog to watch back now. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's only been 10 minutes. What the fuck? My point is it should have swapped spots because
Yeah.
I don't care what match and what world title it is. I don't care if it's the intergender, the ladies, the guys. I don't care if a world title match opens, but if you have more than one of them's got to close.
Yeah.
That's my heart. I don't care about shuffling cards and all these other stupid little. The world championship, whatever you consider the highest title, that should be the main event. If it's not,
Yeah.
you got the wrong guys on as champion, and
Yeah.
And that ain't Ron Simmons' problem.
Mm-mm.
Who was running? Was that still Hurd?
Yeah. This is it was
And
92.
that answers all my questions.
Yeah. But
Ew.
I mean, it was Watts that when it was pushing for Simmons to be champion. So
Oh, that racist guy.
yeah,
Hmm.
the racist guy that knows money when he sees it, and
Yeah. Well, no comment. No comment.
Well, the last Halloween Havoc that started in '89, under the WCW umbrella would be October 29th of 2000 would be the last ever Halloween Havoc under the WCW guys. At that point, it was had been sold, so there wasn't a whole lot left. This came from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas was the last one. No relation to Vinny Vegas, but for the WCW World Tag Team Championship and How the Mighty Have Fallen, the Natural Born Thrillers defeated the Filthy Animals. The Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare, who I still get flack for it. Those guys look like $1 million, and I think if Jindrak and O'Hare were today, they would be like the Road Warriors of 2023 because they both looked amazing. Couldn't work for shit, but they looked good. And what they could do, I think if a smart booker could play to their strength, you could have got something out of them. Obviously, both WCW and WWE saw something in them individually. Yeah, and obviously, and their opponents, the Filthy Animals, Billy Kidman, and unmasked Rey Mysterio, with Conan. They're a great team. Well, those two guys were a great team. You had a WCW Hardcore Championship match. The United States Championship was held by Lance Storm at the time. Goldberg defeated Chronic in a 2-on-1 match.
Which, again, the world title was Booker T versus Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
But
it was not the end.
We had 5 minutes of Goldberg and Chronic. Well, probably 10 because their entrances took forever. Hey, but don't worry. We opened with we had Reno versus AWOL.
Yeah, that is important. They put the good stuff on first.
Do you remember the big thing about what that big deal about that show was leading up to the show?
No.
Do you remember the and I just saw on Wikipedia, it's actually the promotional poster that's on the page for it. But I remember in one of the TV guides, like a month or two before that show airs, it's this poster with Sting. You can barely just see his face, but kind of in silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
And it says The Unveiling, October 29th, 2000 live. There was a repackage of him that was going to happen.
Okay.
And a repackage, he was still going to be the Crow. Like, he was still going to have the face paint, but they were just going to, I guess, get rid of the singlet and have him go back to silence.
Okay.
And, well, that was forgotten about because do you remember what kind of match Sting and Jeff Jarrett had on that pay-per-view?
No.
It was Sting versus Jeff Jarrett and a bunch of guys he hired to look like different versions of Sting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aren't you glad I brought that up?
Yeah, block
Hey.
that entirely. Yeah.
Hey, it's better than a Halloween honorable mention of the worst thing ever, which was Halloween Havoc 95.
Oh, you mean the electric chair?
No, that's 90. That's 90.
Okay.
Was it? 90 was the electric chair, wasn't it? Hold on. Or maybe I'm wrong. Which one is that? It wasn't 89. It was after. I thought it was after 89. Was it 91? It was 91.
Okay.
91 was the Chamber of Horrors, but something worse than that. Monster Truck Sumo Wrestling match.
Oh, that's right.
And the Yeti!
Yeti!
Which nobody knew. He just walked out there and hugged him.
Yeah.
He
The
just
hug of
hugged his
doom.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fucking stupid. So, and then we almost killed the giant because he fell off the roof. Fucking so stupid. Yeah. This is the company I pine for. Sometimes when I go back and watch stuff, and Kelly will be in the room and she'll go, "This is what you pine for?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." Sting.
Yeah.
But however, it was always at the time, even if it was a bad show at the time, it was a good time because it was Halloween Havoc.
Exactly.
Always this mystique about those shows.
It is the season, you know. It was Halloween time, and why not excuse for a pay-per-view and a pay-per-view in October back when it was a monthly thing, you know, to roll out Halloween Havoc. And the last one in WCW was in 2000, and it didn't get its resurrection back into till NXT did it in 2017. So as we're recording this, NXT Halloween Havoc is going on right now as we speak. So this will be the 7-year anniversary of NXT's Halloween Havoc.
With the greatest intro ever
in wrestling history.
Ever. And I'm going to harp on that until I see one better. And if it doesn't include the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, it doesn't matter.
No.
The shorts help too.
Yes. That always helps.
I 97% of the time, I am respectful. But again, that made me feral just for a second. And thank you.
Thank you. And good night. And that, gentlemen and ladies, has been the Wrestling Historian Halloween Havoc edition.
And wouldn't you know, we don't write anything here. There's no bits. Even when back in the day when Dean and I did interviews all the time, those weren't planned either.
Mm-hmm.
Like there might have been an outline for questions, but there was no script. Many times I caught the ire of the Greek god Papadon, and he let me know. And I knew I was in trouble because, like, very rarely, the man's one of the best promos in the business. I've never heard of him. That's your problem. But one of the best promos in the business. But, you know, when you're live, not that I would ever, stumble on my words, but, sometimes a man stumbles on his words. And instinctively, because I hate dead air, and not in a mean way, I would always go, "Oh, you mean blah, blah, blah?" Like I would throw a word out there just to throw the word out.
Of course.
And you knew I was in trouble because you'd hear this pause and you'd hear him go, "What are you doing?" And it was over. And there are pictures of me out there kissing his boots. Because if I didn't, I was going to die.
Of course.
He's very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Got a very big penis. He forgot to tape down once. That was fun. Those pictures are out there, folks.
Start searching.
Papa Don. I can't help you if you have your safe search turned off. That's not my problem. Let's talk about a topic we've talked about 48,000 times on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But if wrestling ever proved me wrong, we wouldn't talk about it anymore. The hypocrisy.
Yes.
Hypocrisy rules.
The gall of you.
The big balls you have. Very rightly so a couple months ago, and maybe it was within the month. I don't remember because Twitter time is fleeting, and I'll call it X when Elon Musk stops dead naming trans folks. Until then, it's Twitter. Don't get political on this podcast. That's not political. Human rights aren't political. But anyway, he rightfully so had not nice things to say about Vince McMahon and the terrible shit that man did. Yeah. Recognizing he was the greatest promoter in the world ever in wrestling, but also recognizing kind of piece of shit. Yeah. And everybody rightfully so was like, well, yeah, you're right. Good on you, Mr. Khan. At least you're not a total piece of crap. Last week in Philadelphia, the Liacouras Center, like the day or two before, he teased a big gift for Sting because it was his birthday, and he was going to a big announcement, which is his retirement. So the big day you've been looking for, Craig, is finally happening. And not a moment too soon. I hope that man stays on some capacity for younger folks. But he's going to bring a birthday gift, the biggest gift anybody's ever got ever in wrestling. And I have a few questions, especially for you being a African-American gentleman. I didn't know you could still buy or sell, folks. So that was maybe the wrong connotation. He probably shouldn't have used, I have a gift, here is a person.
Yeah.
Not a great idea.
It's the toy. It's the toy 2023 version.
Oh, God. God, at least that was funny, though.
Yeah.
Jesus. So that my first thought was like, he can't own a person. Oh, did he gift him a person? Unfortunately, that person was Ric fucking Flair, who won't go away. And something just popped in my head because we're talking about WCW 2000. Jesus Christ, that was a running joke in the late 90s. He won't go away. He won't give up his spot. There the fuck he is again. The 2001 theme playing. And his gift to Sting from Tony Khan was Ric Flair chopping him half-assed and looking only he can look, but much older. Problem being is, and if you don't know this, folks, I'm going to trigger some of you, much like the Ecto one and the short uniform pants triggered me. Ric Flair is kind of a sex pest. And when I say kinda, all the way. And one of the things Tony Khan brought up was certain assault and nasty things Vince did. And then a month later, he lets Ric Flair on the show. That's fucking hypocritical.
Yeah.
And it again goes to my problem with Tony Khan and AEW in general. We're going to be different. We're not going to do the same shit. You're the fucking same. You're the same. You're all the same. Wrestling's the same. Indie or otherwise, you're all run by garbage people. Well, not my own. Yes, yours too. Not the company I watch. Okay. If the promoter dies without getting caught doing anything, more power to you. But until then, none of these people get called to carpet. The ones who do are the ones that do lesser than, and then they're never to be seen again. But meanwhile, y'all find out soon enough. I'm just going to sit back and watch it burn. Not my problem. But all I hear in my head is Cody Rhodes' words at that press conference. We're going to do things different. We're going to do everything. Then you probably shouldn't have been friends with the Young Bucks and hired them. You probably shouldn't have let Tony Khan book it. Just be the owner. And if you mean different, you mean losing all momentum you ever had immediately. I guess that's different. And I want AEW to be different. I want AEW to be better than WWE without the Vince McMahon name. Let's see what happens. I want this to be, because there are still people there that I like a lot. And I don't want them to go anywhere. Looks fucking fantastic right now. And any defending I would have done, you keep throwing out the door. And this was 3 days after I heard there's a rumor he's signing Sami Callihan for Ring of Honor. Why don't you just dress up a big sack of potatoes in a hefty bag and throw it in the middle of the ring? It's the same fucking thing. Only the sack of potatoes didn't beat his ex-wife and get away with it, because nobody in wrestling would make him answer to it, because you're all a bunch of fucking losers with no convictions. You don't like what I'm saying? Fuck you, do something about it. You all stood by. And you continue to stand by. Not all. There are very good people in wrestling, and they're tired of that bullshit. I won't name him because he wants to be left out of it, but one of the guys that had a bad experience with Joey Fuckface Ryan.
Yeah.
And was completely disconnected from the business because he spoke out with all the other women as a witness, one of two. The rest of you kept your fucking mouth shut. Go fuck yourself. Grow a spine. Have some balls. Don't come after me. I'm not the bad guy here. Don't Janela it and be like, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you too. No, I threw him out of the building. I threw Teddy Hart in. He was there for 2 hours before he got thrown out. There were witnesses to it. But you turned all your fucking lackey fans on to other people and kept them quiet. You fucking cowards. Ric Flair, fuck off. You want to talk about his past as contributions to the wrestling world? Sure. Guy's a legend. I don't want to see that motherfucker anywhere on my TV. Sorry. And I'm not going to shut up about it until it stops. Why don't you stop watching wrestling? Because I like wrestling and I want it to be better. Craig, help me. Am I crazy?
No. And to a great deal of sane people, or the people that do know of Ric Flair's past and his out of the ring activities, no one wants to see Ric Flair either. Just like no one wants to see a Harvey Weinstein or a Roman Polanski.
Yeah, fuck that guy who ran and then never had any.
Yeah, but we don't want to see, you and I don't want to see Ric Flair on TV or anywhere anymore. But the sad thing is that Tony Khan does. But
he's a fucking moron.
We've established that,
and he won't answer to anybody about it.
No,
you fucking garbage.
Well, and that's the thing that's different about AEW, because it's not run by someone who knows the wrestling business. It's run by a wrestling fan, who likes what he likes, and because of that, we have to watch Ric Flair on television, or Orange Cassidy be undefeated for a year, and John Moxley doing what he does, and Danhausen, and the things that have very little to do with professional wrestling, but a lot to do with what he likes and the people he likes. And because he can't ever say no or to anyone, I mean, how many fights have there been backstage at AEW? How many people have been legitimately injured, sometimes by the same people? People go into business for themselves during promos. He doesn't fire anyone. And the one person he does fire is the biggest star they've ever had in the company for speaking out about all the stuff that Cody didn't like about the promotion when he left.
What a quinkydink.
And whether WWE sees AEW competition or not, You look at the way that WWE has presented AEW talent, which is light years ahead of the way AEW had them. The Jade Cargill, Brian Pillman Jr. I mean, these guys are getting the red carpet treatment and brought in as superstars. These are the same people that AEW had. It reminds me, when we've talked about it before, when WCW stars would go to the WWE, they got red card. Chris Jericho, I still say, another fuckface who I don't want to see on TV anymore, but I will still say, I will always say, he had the greatest entrance in WWE history.
Period.
He was a guy that could barely get out of the cruiserweight division in WCW, but he comes to WWE as a Millennium Man
That's because Bischoff wasn't as smart as he thought he was, or he'd still be in business.
No. And Bischoff had Jericho, Steve Austin, Cactus Jack, Mark Callis, all under his employ. They became bigger stars in WWE than they ever would have had they stayed in WCW. But it's how you use the talent that you have. Tony Khan is not a booker, is a horrible booker. He does everything on his own, and he cannot sustain what he's already taken upon himself. There's no way he can. He's already starting to feel the effects of Punk not being there, but he's still trying to run shows in 20,000 seat arenas and drawing only 2,000 people. I'm not going to say a rookie mistake, because he's been doing this for 4 years. Play to small venues so you can so the crowds look bigger, at least on television. But you're going in basketball arenas with indoor football like attendance. You gotta again be smart with what you have. Play to your strength. Whatever you feel about AEW, they have a loyal audience. They have,
Sure.
for the people that like that kind of thing, those are the kind of things that those people like. Play to that. And the people and if not that, look at your ratings. Who turns off the TV when certain stars come on? Young Bucks don't draw shit when they're on TV.
They're the greatest ever.
Nobody cares. So you do it the right way. If you use the wrestlers that know how to wrestle. And you said before about with Sting, Flair kind of talked his way into being there for Sting's retirement match. I'll be with you the whole way. Why?
I heard he talks his way into things that doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
I heard that's a thing.
Yeah.
So that fucking figures. So I'm stuck with him for months. I
And
won't
of course,
watch. That's
yeah,
literally, I'm literally gonna tune out of my favorite wrestlers' end run or second end run because fuckface McGee won't go home.
Yeah. And Tony, and as long as Tony keep paying him, and as long as Flair needs the money, he's going to be right there. With Sting. I kudos to Sting if this is his swan song, is his farewell tour. Good on him. Only because a lot of wrestlers didn't have that, or don't have that ability to go out the way he is, and obviously Tony Khan, maybe as big a Sting mark as you, will do everything he can to make his final matches great ones. I don't know who his opponents are going to be. I hope this is not Flair's way of weaseling himself back in.
I swear to fucking Christ, if I see a Flair Sting rematch, Jesus Christ, it was bad on the last Nitro.
Yeah.
Don't. God damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to say goodbye to Sting because and you can't do a dream match with him. I mean, obviously his biggest rivals are either no longer here or no longer wrestling, so it wouldn't do anything. I don't know what you could do to draw interest in it as far as his opponents go. But that's what Tony Khan. That's his problem now, and it's all of our problems because he doesn't know how to put on good TV, good matches. The people he had are gonna be stars somewhere else, and that's gonna eat at him, especially if Punk does come back to the Survivor Series in Chicago later this month.
Dumb. Your resolution was getting rid of CM Punk, and I hope it comes back to bite you as soon as it can. I do.
Yeah. I don't wish, we love professional wrestling. That's
No,
why
I wouldn't waste my time here every week.
Mm-hmm.
That rant you just heard was from passion and heart.
Yeah.
I desperately want this to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tired of pretending that's fine.
No.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You're echoing what a lot of people feel, especially the people that listen to this podcast or watch this. They know how you feel.
A bag of potatoes with a hefty bag wrap around it.
Yeah.
It might be the greatest thing I've ever said. He deserves every inch of it. Fuck him.
Yes. Fuck him.
I'm very proud of myself. Sorry, go ahead, Craig.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I'm proud of you too, Dan. No, you echoed a lot of what I think about the people that he's hired and how Tony Khan runs AEW. It's yeah, it's not good. I'm looking at WWE though. They have a big pay-per-view. Speaking of things you don't want to see or just don't. Another pay-per-view, a premium live event, this Saturday in Saudi Arabia. Crown Jewel, another hastily put together premium live event.
I mean, who gives a shit anymore? Fine,
That's what I'm talking about. To appease the high rollers, the people that pay good money to see the WWE in their hometown. So certain members are making the trek. They're throwing together some feuds at the last moment, some bouts at the last moment. The only reason why Logan Paul is back to face Rey Mysterio. LA Knight's first ever title match, and it's in Saudi Arabia.
Sure. Okay.
They could Knight could lose this on a technicality and not lose anything. When I first heard about it, it scared me a little just because you don't want to cool off this guy's momentum. And you definitely don't want to have him beat like that. So there's a way Knight can come out of this still with, by losing, but still coming out on top by losing by disqualification or count out or something. But yeah, so Crown Jewel is a Saturday afternoon card, which traditionally does not do well, unless your Clash of Champions won in 1988.
At one time. I mean, the show will probably be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway. Hey, TNA's back, Craig.
TNA's back. Well, we should amend that, Dan. TNA has never really gone away.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Despite multiple TV outlets and streaming services, and I believe it was shown on the side of a barn with a lantern at some point. Because it was almost impossible to find, but it's still, they're producing TV shows. They're getting wrestlers that we know, wrestlers with name value on them. So yeah, matter of fact, I was even posted as a possible landing spot for CM Punk was TNA, the only organization that he hasn't wrestled for.
But he has.
Yeah, that's right. I said
Sorry,
correct.
I didn't mean to.
No, I said
Hey,
correct.
mark that down. Dan knew something that Craig Lagon's the professor forgot for a second.
Yeah, as soon as I said that,
saying.
he did wrestle. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
rare moment in time. Just saying. Let me have that, folks.
yeah. It's all yours. But yes, TNA. Well, it's gone from Impact back to TNA. I don't understand why. What was wrong with Impact, or why?
Well, here's the thing. Like, okay, so you're changing the name back. Cool, get it. Nostalgia. I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem is, are you going to change the booking at all? Because I'm hearing that they're going to run arenas again and house shows.
Mm-hmm.
Might want to switch that up a bit.
Yeah.
At the first thing that popped in my head, and I like to cause a little havoc sometimes, but I'm kind of selfishly hoping that since they want to catch eyes and catch a buzz, that they try to hot shot a title. Just give it to Jordan Grace. Let her beat whoever. Just see what happens. Just even if it's temporary. You said you're TNA and you want pop buildings again. Give it a shot. I just want to see what happens. I like to see people get mad.
The thing is, without a viable TV outlet, how are they going to pop?
What channel is it on?
That's the thing.
Access?
I don't know. And if it is on Access, I don't even know if I have it. I don't even know anyone who does have it.
I think I do.
Okay.
I do know I have the 24-hour Impact channel, and that and they air the shows from its entire history, including NWA TNA. So sometimes I will stop on that. I'm like, oh yeah, these were the days. But I have no idea what show that's what channel that's on.
No, me neither.
Um,
Last thing I want to touch upon, you said you brought up Impact and NWA and TNA. I wanted to get your opinion on the potential match between the general manager of SmackDown, the new general manager of SmackDown, the general manager of Raw. Hopefully gearing towards setting the stage at Survivor Series, but heading towards WrestleMania. The battle of two former NWA champions, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis.
both those guys weren't even past their prime.
Nick Aldis is 36.
So he's past his prime.
No, I'm saying that Nick Aldis can still go, and if you see him in the suit,
sure. I'm down for it. Why not at this point?
And a Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce match would be better than probably about 95% of whatever else is on the card.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm down for it. Sure.
Yeah,
you can even bill it as the former NWA heavyweight champions.
Yeah,
go ahead.
They're setting the stage now, but I'm liking how it's going. Go ahead.
We went from Nick Aldis to Tyrus to EC3.
Yep.
Okay, Bill.
Yeah.
Do it better. All right.
I'm happy to see Nick Aldis on national TV
again. Yeah, that guy deserves one run.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, it's been so good for so long.
Yes,
do it with his eyes closed. He could do it probably sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
He could probably do the real wrestling sleeping as well. I can play the WWE 2K game sleeping. Ask Jennifer. We were sitting up playing a Royal Rumble mode in the middle of the night one night, and it's like 1:00 in the morning. And she says, I literally started snoring, and I was still throwing people out of the ring.
Wow.
And I don't remember any of that. And I was sober, folks.
Woo.
Oh, don't look out. The Rangers, the Diamondbacks have one run.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Here they come.
Here they go. No, wrong team.
Oops. Speaking of team, the long national nightmare is over. You don't. What are you gonna do? You have to change your James Harden wallpaper.
Yes, I have to change that. He's gone. Hey, man, if it makes him happy, let him make somebody else miserable. He didn't want to be here. He talks about how it's Maury's fault and this, and that. But I seem to remember someone turtle back into his shell in a playoff game recently after lighting the floor up and then completely shitting the bed nationally. And that wasn't Daryl Morey's fault, James Harden. With all due respect, maybe you should have shown up. Wouldn't have been a problem. The same goes for Mr. Harper, who names his son Crew with a K. Perhaps stop talking about it and just be about it. And I love as a baseball player. We finally got his jersey. I got the cream jersey, that Phillies alternate.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to win nothing but a championship or two in Philly, but you got to hit.
Yeah,
just saying. So James Harden, good luck.
Yeah,
it was awesome, but you should probably take some accountability for just whiffing.
Yeah. I think had we gone to the conference finals, he would still be here. And
oh God, yeah.
And honestly, I had no problem with James Harden here. The only reason I want him off the team because he didn't want to be here. Because the James Harden that was here averaged 21 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds. His Sixers career here, a 21, 10, and 5 guy in 2 years. This is a Hall of Famer. I never thought I would see James Harden as a Sixer. That was like, to me, that was like seeing Julio Jones now as an Eagle.
Yeah.
But
thank you for that, Julio, the other day. Thank you.
Yes. I never thought I'd see Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown have touchdowns in the same game. Hopefully see more of that. But James Harden should have been an all-star last year. And I think somebody else even pointed out, had James Harden, not only had we gone to the Eastern Conference Finals, had James Harden been an all-star, he probably would still have been here, like he should have been. When's the last time a guy who led the league in assists didn't make the all-star team? Why was James Harden a 10-time all-star, even when times he didn't deserve to be there? Years he was hurt, he was still an all-star.
I'm really, really believing the party line that Adam Silver actually hates the city.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about Mr. Silver. I've drawn him up as a clown, which it didn't take much. The man's paler than I am. And he was an albino. Apologies.
Yeah.
I did not realize.
Yeah. And I see Adam Silver doing just the way I see that how Roger Goodell feels about the Eagles. There's a Philadelphia sports bias. I mean, it's always been that way. And with Adam Silver, he's always because he's hated the process. And not that he's actively done anything to prevent it from happening to other teams, but because it worked to a lesser degree here, he doesn't like us. So if we were to ever go to an NBA championship or even just the Eastern Conference Finals, that wouldn't do well to him. That would make him look bad because the process happened under his watch. And the term tanking was never a thing until trust the process till the Sixers started. Now they're using that term in other sports. People say the Giants are tanking now to get Caleb, or other teams are tanking because it's a big draft coming up. But that's all thanks to the Sixers, and that's what makes Adam Silver not like us.
Well, I'd hate to tell you what I feel about Adam Silver and Roger Goodell.
Yeah,
it's not
because if the brotherly shove is banned next year, especially if the Eagles win or go back to the Super Bowl, then there's a Philadelphia bias.
The quarterback sneak?
Yeah, the quarterback sneak that's been done. Has been done since football. It's been a thing, at least since football, but it's been on national television. But yes, no one likes us. We don't care.
I don't give a fuck. I only care when it absolutely prevents us from winning something. Keep your fucking hands off. With that being said, Craig,
there.
Before we go, I just want to say, hold on.
Holding.
Just want to say, it's gonna be worth it. And my camera froze. That's great timing right there.
There it is. You're frozen, but I get the gist of it. There it is. Oh my God. It's Stern. What's with the devil horns, though?
I turned them off.
Where'd you get that, man? That's amazing.
TikTok. Like
okay.
$40. It does all kinds of stuff here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really nifty. And that's when I forget a costume from now on. And I just...
Amazing. Happy Halloween, man. Oh, wow. Look at that Slimer. I think you're a ghost. Yeah, you're a White Walker from Game of Thrones. Now you're Sting.
And now... I will...
Oh, no, you're the Red Skull.
Now that one's done. Where can people follow you, Jay?
Love it, man.
Thank you.
Can you do black? Thank you. Can you do blackface?
I haven't tried. Fuck you. Where can people follow you, Craig? Try to get me.
They can follow this blackface on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Not calling it X. At Craig Ligon. CRAIGLIGGEONS.
Tell you, I'll call it X when he stops dead naming trans people. Until then, Elon Musk can go fucking hell.
Yeah,
and everybody that I mentioned on the show who's a piece of shit, go fuck yourself. You see me, go fucking yourself. Since Dan83. Happy Halloween, everyone. And remember, even though you're eating candy, keep it on the table.